What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs alike, and the cryptocurrency space where we are in 2024 now. This is going to be a huge year, in our opinion, and crypto is the biggest opportunity, and it's not even close. So we are blessed to be here with you guys. And in fact, we're blessed to have a really cool guest on the show. So, Corey, take it away and introduce our guest as well.
For sure. So Corey Geary here in the beautiful state of Arizona right now. It's absolutely wonderful here, having a happy holiday and a happy new year. I hope all you guys had a great time with your family. You took a step back from crypto. Saw some of you guys doing some tax harvesting, which is perfectly fine. Even Richard recommended it. I was like, damn, bro, you're down there and want to sell your crypto. Okay. And that's perfectly fine, right? Because he's just adding value. Worry about it. I was like, I don't got to worry about that one. I'm in Puerto Rico. But man, just truly blessed to be with you guys on this journey where we're going to use cryptocurrency as that wealth creation tool. And don't make no mistake, it's 2024. So I hope you guys are DCAing. And then no financial advice, by the way, go buy bonds. And then down the road, we're going to use real estate and maybe some other real world assets for some wealth preservation. And then when the timing's right, go back to the crypto again and play that game over and over again and change the trajectory of us, our family's lives, maybe some of your guys' lives if you want to come on this journey with us and just have a great time while we're doing it, because I love this asset class. And speaking of this asset class, I love all the builders. You've heard me and Dane talk on this show over and over again until we're blue in the face that we felt like the builders are what make Pulsechain beat. Literally, the heartbeat of the chain is the builders. If it weren't for these guys, in my opinion, we would have died when the SEC stuff would have happened. We would have died, when Richard kind of went, it's the builders who's dragging us through the mud, who's making this chain what it is, and the community too. You guys are also what's making this chain thrive. But man, we've been super excited about this protocol. They launched a time ago. I'm not invested, full disclosure in this, but that might change. Who knows? After today's show, we'll see. That's why we're in this. But they launched a little while ago, and we even had some members in our mastermind who were participating. We did not, but they're really starting to do cool stuff. I'll let them kind of elaborate what they're doing, but I know they have a bridge to Binance, which is really cool. We need more on-ramps through different means. This is really cool that they did that, because that's where their history. Now let him tell a story when he gets up. But then they're also now like the second biggest X, or second or third. I'll let him talk about it, because obviously we got Pulsechain. We have the PHUX protocol, which you guys know we all love and we use every single day for our liquidity providing. And then now we got Spark Swap. And these guys have been doing some really cool things, some really cool building. And I want to bring them up and let them talk about the stuff they're bringing into Pulsechain. Because like I said, again, it's these guys here who are saving our bags and who are pumping our bags and who are literally going to make us shine in this next bull market. And so, man, I appreciate you coming on the show today. Thank you so much for building and making Pulsechain awesome. We love all you guys. Want you everyone a little about yourself? Maybe how you can tell your backstory, how you got into crypto, maybe some war stories, maybe some wins, whatever you want. But yeah, go ahead and tell them about yourself.
All right, Corey. Awesome. Dane, happy to be here, guys. Really excited. Big fans of the channel. We've been following you guys from day one, man. Sacrifice phase all the way through. So I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I'm gonna try to keep the energy up for today. But yeah, man, we are builders, and that is something that we pride ourselves on. We started over on Binance Smart Chain with a protocol called EMP money. It was a seniors protocol, and it's still functioning. We were impacted by the bear market, just like all DeFi projects, but we never gave up. We continued to build, and here we are. And so, a little bit background on me. I'm a successful entrepreneur outside of crypto, but I fell in love with crypto early on. As you can see too, I'm in a wheelchair. I happen to be a quadriplegic, so I've always used computer technology to help me be more independent. And doing that, I found the power of crypto. And so I got involved in crypto back in 2014, and going on 10 years now of being in the space. I think it's the great equalizer in terms of financial freedom, and it's a big part of my ethos, personally and financially. So with that, I just continued to learn everything I could. I developed a lot of really key relationships with developers that I trust. And we now have a very robust team of over 30 devs that we're using to build out all of our ecosystem. So we have three legs to our ecosystem. Number one is EMP. Number two is Spark, which we're going to talk about today. And number three is L1 Dex, and we'll talk about that at the end. I think that's really bullish too, as what the future holds. But SparkSwap started as a simple AMM, or automated market maker, that we all are used to. Goose Finance was the OG. We forked that code, but we really improved on the code, and that is something that we are very passionate about. We don't want to just build the same thing over again. We want to improve on what we see the pitfalls. And even with Pulse X, I'm an OG Hexagon. I love Pulse. Everything that we're doing is to help the adoption of Pulse. But admittedly, there was a lot of flaws in Pulse X. And especially with the ink token is meant to be sold. And so when you have a reward token that has no additional utility, it becomes very harmful in terms of economics. And unfortunately, we've seen that with the downfall or continual decline in price of ink. So with SparkSwap, we are now our own DEX, but rather than rewarding Spark to all the users just to have them sell it, we actually reward part of the protocol fees right back to all of our users through our staking contract called Sparkler. So you're able to actually become an owner of the DEX by staking your Spark in Sparkler. So you actually make more money over time through the fees rather than just outright selling the Spark. And this is really powerful because just like Hex, when you stake, you get a multiplier that is very similar to T shares, where the longer you stake, the more ownership of the protocol you receive. So that's a very high level overview of what Spark is. I'd love to kind of, answer some questions from you guys, and we can dive down into it more. But again, all of our fees, rather than going to our pockets, we reward it to all of our users. And Sparkler rewards Spark LP. So what we're doing is the rewards are actually buying half Spark and half PLS off the market, which is also really bullish for Pulse, because every day we're adding buying pressure on the Pulse token itself. So not only are we, helping our own ecosystem, but we're also helping support the price of Pulse. And then finally, our bridge is the pride and joy of Spark, and we have a very low fee bridge. And actually, even though Richard removed the bridging fee on the main Ethereum bridge, we are actually cheaper when you factor in the price of gas. So unfortunately, with ETH, you're paying up to $30 for a gas transaction. And so even though we do have fees with our bridge, it actually ends up being cheaper. And like you said, Corey, we're interoperable with BSC and Arbitrum. So those that still, are using ETH can just bridge over to Arbitrum and then bridge onto our through our bridge.
That's great. That's great. Want you to break down the fee structure? I'd be very interested to know how that looks. I become an investor and I start staking, which that's on the table. What does that look like? What fees get paid out to us? What fees get paid out to you guys or the buy and burn, or not buy and burn, but the buy? I mean, I love these structures, actually. Let me just say this, because we've seen a lot of this going on in Pulsechain, where like we get a share of the revenue, like Tetra's doing it. There's a lot of them doing it, right? And I just love that model because it's actual real cash flow versus relying on Ponzi-nomics. Or just inflation that's going to be dumped to oblivion. So I love that. So yeah, go ahead, talk more about that.
Yeah, Corey, I love it, man. And we learned that through our years of experience. Again, at EMP, we've been running for 2 years now, and we know the detriment that runaway inflation can have. Spark is inflationary at the moment, but we have plans to get away from that. And even now, we are rewarding people in real yield. So I think that's the next wave of DeFi. Is this real yield model
Us
where
too.
yeah, totally, bro. Where you're rewarded from the actual protocol fees. So to answer your question, the bridge fee is 0.5%. Uh, about 0.3% of that goes directly to Sparkler, and we also are able to run there are some small deposit and withdrawal fees on the farms. Um, the native farms that have the most benefits of the protocol, they don't have any withdrawal fees or deposit fees. So that doesn't impact users getting in. But all 100% of the deposit and withdrawal fees go to Sparkler again to reward users. And right now, the Sparkler APR is sitting around 80%. And so
That's great.
80%, yeah, man, in real yield, which again is unheard of. So it does fluctuate, but it's been running, over our 3 month. We've only been around 3 months, and it's been averaging about 0.5% a day in yield, which again is super lucrative. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I tried to do my screen share, but it wasn't working. So yeah, this is our interface. Again, we have over 5 million TVL as well already. Which again is really shows the success we've had so far. And yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we have a great relationship with Tetra. I heard you mention Fox earlier. I mean, all these guys that are out here building, we don't see it as competition. We see it as the rising tide will rise
Yep.
all ships. And so the more volume that we can do together, the more users we can bring to Pulse, the better all of our bags will do over time, for sure.
Will you? And you had a cool graphic when we spoke before that showed how and time Sparkler worked and how you anticipate. Can you put that in the
Yeah,
private chat? I could share it if your screen share
yeah.
is not working.
Yeah, no doubt. If you go to info, it's actually in our docs.
Oh, is it
So
right
on
here?
the yeah on the
Let me
left hand side,
pull it
yep,
up.
go to info and then go to docs, and then
Excellent.
yeah, if you scroll down, again we have a full white paper. You can read about as well, but it should be at the very bottom. And
Okay.
yeah, this is we call it the infinite money generator. Yeah, it's a little tongue in cheek, for sure. But this is a great way to show how you can actually profit from our protocol without ever having to sell one spark, and get actual pulse every single day. So again, the idea is that you start out in the farms. We did retire our single asset pools, but the farms are paying very well. And then you would put the spark from those farms into Sparkler. Again, we recommend the maximum stake, which is essentially burning the spark, which helps again combat that inflation that we talked about. And then you're rewarded in Spark, uh, uh, a Spark LP, which is half Spark, half Pulse. Then you can unbreak that LP, and then keep the Pulse as profit, and then put the Spark right back into Sparkler to continue earning. And so it's that rule. Obviously Richard himself says it's that delayed gratification that you're able to build a passive income generator, by utilizing the tools that we have built for sure.
So talk about, I think it's a really interesting model. What do you guys, what are you doing in order to be, to grow your liquidity? At what point does Sparkler kick in where the incentive token on your guys' DEX is actually deflationary?
Yeah, so as soon as we reach enough daily volume that we're able to reward a lucrative APR from fees alone, that is, at that point we will move away from the inflation completely. So unfortunately, I don't have like a date or a time, but right now we're doing about 300,000 daily volume, and I think that once we get towards 1 million, 2 million in daily volume, we can start really looking at what that looks like. Now, obviously, the APR would go down, but the price of Spark would go up because, again, we
Right.
don't have all that inflation. So theoretically, the APRs may, even though they would take a short-term hit, over time, they can actually be much more lucrative and sustainable. So we're hoping for sometime this year for sure.
It's exciting. I like the idea. I think it's interesting to consider. And you guys, I mean, are obviously building, which I think is really commendable. What are some of the things that you're most excited about with Spark Swap? What are some of the things that you guys have seen so far and that you have planned for the future?
Yeah, so we have so much planned. We have a 10-year roadmap that we've been planning behind the scenes. But the most immediate is continuing to integrate other beneficial economic strategies, one of which is an arbitrage bot. So all of our pairs have internal arbitrage bots that are associated with them, and that's how we're able to do such volume with only about 7 pairs. Again, Fox technically is the second largest DEX, but they have over probably 200 different pairs with their balancer pools. We're able to do you know uh, almost half the volume on only 8 pairs. So we have these bots that are always managing the arbitrage, and rather than that arbitrage profit going away from the ecosystem and going into either the devs pockets or another developer that runs the our bots, we're able to actually keep that in our ecosystem, and so that's another revenue stream that is, puts direct buying pressure on Spark over time as we continue to grow, and that will only get more and more the more and more volume that we do. So that again is super bullish for the short term and the long term as we continue to generate real yield.
I think it's cool. If someone was to come in and use Spark Swap, what are some things that they should consider? That they should consider.
Yeah, no doubt. So just like any token, I mean, obviously there's going to be volatility. We do have deep liquidity. Our main LP is tied to Pulse, and we have over $1 million of liquidity. So as the price of Spark goes up, I'm sorry, as the price of Pulse goes up, that will also bring the price of Spark up with it. So it's a great way to kind of maintain exposure to Pulse, um, but be able to earn very lucrative APR as well. And we do have a lot of different pairs. Our SDI diet pair, that's a stable token pair, paying what
Yeah.
a 61%.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. So
That is
again,
unheard of.
we definitely have a lot of options, and the APR is will fluctuate. Um, so just bear in mind that the APR is an average. But all of this over the last 3 months has been an absolute printer for everybody involved. And we just have so many amazing plans for the future of continuing all the growth that we've had.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Totally.
What
Dude,
go ahead, Corey.
I was just going to ask, when do you anticipate that R bot to go live for revenue share? That's very innovative, and I've never heard of anyone
Yeah,
doing something like that. Usually, when people create R bots, it's for their own benefit, and they do it behind
totally.
the scenes, and no one else reaps the rewards from that. That's like a complete, usually an attack, which is healthy for the ecosystem, but it's usually for someone else's benefit. So it's very, very.
Yeah,
I commend you for that.
yeah, Corey, no doubt, man. So they're already up and running now. So we're in a growth mode where we're trying to make sure that there's enough liquidity in those bots that are able to always maintain the arbitrage opportunity. So we haven't really
Right.
been distributing a lot of the profit yet, but they have been building. So hopefully within the next few months, or even sooner, we're able to start funneling that profit back into the ecosystem. And again, it's a great thing because typically developers have to sell their native asset to pay for development, and that really hurts the price of the
Yep.
token where they're dumping on everybody's heads. Well, we have mechanisms now where we never have to sell a single Spark token and still be able to fund development for the long term, which again is super bullish and sustainable for the future.
I agree, and he hit it on the head. Arbitrage bot for the ecosystem is so selfless that the license to print money. The fact
For
that
sure.
you're willing to share that opportunity, because most people, 99% of the people in crypto, do not know how to build art bots and go in there and take advantage of the opportunity. So the fact that you're sharing that with the community is just amazing.
Yeah, and we're able to arb between, like for instance, our new pair is an ETH DAI farm, and that arb bot is actually able to arb not only with our own DEX, but also with PulseX and Fox. So we're actually giving volume not only to ourselves, but to the other DEXs as well.
Right.
And so again, that helps the whole ecosystem. And we have some really unique ideas and other automation that we're working with the guys from Tetra on hopefully automating with their Omnis, limit orders, a lot of really really cool stuff.
I like it. I think it's interesting. What are your thoughts in general? I mean, you talked about being early to Hex and Pulsechain. I mean, you guys are built on Binance. There's so many places to build. Why, why Pulsechain? What do you see for the
Good
chain
question.
moving forward this next year?
Yeah, no doubt. So, I've been a big believer in community. Regardless of what you think of Richard or the actual technical specs of False Chain, you can't argue with the avid community. And so, as long as there's a community, I think that drives value. And we've always seen that on Pulse. And so, yeah, I mean, I think once we get past all the SEC drama and Richard, is able to focus again. I think that we see amazing growth on Pulse Chain, and even with our other projects, L1 Dex. So that's another Dex that we're in the process of building, um, utilizing a brand new technology that allows interoperability of all chains. And so
For
we're
Pulse
hoping,
Chain? Or okay.
well, yeah. So it will be for all the top 10 EVM and non-EVM chains. So what we're going to do is we're actually able to use that to bridge the gap and make Pulse interoperable with all the big guys. So we're hoping in quarter 1 that will be ready to roll, and then SparkSwap will be the LP provider to L1 Dex for Pulse.
Ah,
Yeah. So
very cool.
totally. It's a way that we're able to bridge seamlessly, and have it all still be self-contained in our own ecosystem.
It's really interesting. What are you guys doing? One of the things I like that you really built, I really like the bridge from Binance. There has to be more onboarding and less friction to be able to come to Pulsechain to really make the dream work, if you will. What do you guys do you have any efforts or plans over on BNB? You've built some stuff over there to try to market to those guys to bring their liquidity over
That
to
was
Pulsechain?
going to be my question too, because what Randolph said here, because what you're talking about is absolute fire, and you gotta like you get crypto at a very deep level. But the marketing part, the fact that a lot of people haven't heard about Spark too much. I mean, we have some. Don't get me wrong, but it's what. Yeah. So to Dane's point, all your marketing efforts. What are your plans? What do you plan on trying to bring BNB efforts over? Like, talk a little about that, because that old saying, if you're not marketing, you're dying. It's so true in every
Totally.
industry, whether it's business. Me and Dane have experienced that in our businesses before. And crypto, sure. If you're not marketing your crypto,
Yeah, no doubt. Well, shout out to Randolph. I appreciate that, man. And yeah, I mean, we are absolutely trying to get the word out. I mean, we obviously being on a show like you guys today, we have a great relationship with Corey Costa. A lot of the OG, Hex guys are finally starting to talk about us. And yeah, we're always trying to market. We have been doing a lot more marketing to the B&B side, to your point, Corey. I mean, we think that there is a very low-hanging fruit in getting the BSC or BNB, DeFi heads or degenerates, whatever you
a
want to
lot
call
of
them.
them over there.
Yeah,
All of them. We
yeah,
want all of them.
totally, bro. Getting them over to Pulse, and it's already happening. I mean, we have a great relationship with another protocol called Goat Token, as well as Warren Finance. Both of those started on BSC, and now they're over on Pulse. So anything we can do to bring more builders and ultimately users onto Pulse is 100% the goal. And yeah, I mean, um, we've been doing it. I mean, the bridge has already brought over hundreds of thousands of dollars from Pulse and Arbitrum. I'm sorry, from BNB and Arbitrum to Pulse. So it's working. We just got to continue to get the word out. And even Richard himself alluded to a
I know.
BNB bridge on
Yeah.
so
I
I
thought
don't
about
know.
you, bro.
I know, bro. I know. It was a Christmas miracle. So yeah, I assume he was alluding to us, and
Of
we will be
course.
working on
Yeah.
full audits as well. We have an audit for the main protocol that we have passed, but we're also working on a specific audit for the bridge. So once we have that, we'll be putting it on Richard's desk for sure.
Wait, say it again. You have an audit for the
Yeah,
bridge.
full audit for the bridge. Yeah, it's in the works now, and once we have it done, we'll present that to RH the best that we can, and hopefully he, endorses it. So, and I understand. I mean, he has to be very careful with what projects he gets behind, but we're here for the right reasons. We've never had an exploit in any of our protocols, so we're building for the future.
Huh. I like it. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. All right. So how could I think that, like a lot of the people here that watch our show are more sophisticated crypto people, but for some of the people that are a little bit newer, they're not, they haven't necessarily provided liquidity at a high level. How might they consider getting involved in Spark Swap, mitigating their risk, in a reasonable measure, but starting to get a taste of what you guys have to offer there? What might they do?
Yeah. Yeah, Dan. So if you don't mind, will you pull up the website? Again, I have a really cool feature I want to show.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
All right, so we have something called a zapper. and that allows you to create LP with a click of a button. So if you go to Spark PLS and approve that contract, yep, if you just unlock, I mean, I don't know if you don't have to do it live. If you don't
This is my test wallet. Let's do it.
All right, perfect.
Let's do it.
I think Dane's already exposed his keys to his test wallet. If I'm
Yeah, someone can come and rob me here on the
For
test
sure,
wallet.
man.
This is Zapier. I've heard of Power City also doing something like this.
Yeah, the zappers.
Maybe you can really break it down for us. Simpletons can understand it at a very high level.
Yeah, totally.
But it seems really cool from what I understand.
Yeah, so it essentially takes whatever asset that you choose, and it will automatically create the LP pair for you. So you don't have to worry about knowing, how to create LP, what LP you should be doing. It's all under the hood, and then you zap in and zap out. So it'll show on the UI. It's super straightforward, and all you need is Pulse or DAI or ETH. Any of those assets we support.
All right. It's working on approving the contract.
There it is. All right. So if you hit the little plus arrow on the farm,
hold on,
and it goes both ways. You can do the plus or the minus, but we'll start with plus. And then hit the button up there that says create LP. Yep, perfect. And then you would just select whatever asset you want to spend. So Pulse probably, yeah. And then you literally can type in however many Pulse you want to spend, and it will automatically convert that into half Spark and half PLS and make the LP for you.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
super
cool.
easy.
That is cool. It makes it very user-friendly.
Yeah, super user-friendly. And then once you have that, then you just go back to deposit LP and then actually deposit it into the farm to start earning.
And all these LPs are V2, right? They're
yeah, that's a really good question, Corey. So most of them are our own LP. So Spark is actually a DEX, and so how you'll know if you go back to the farm page, there's a little logo on the farms, and so if you're looking at right there, most of those are all Spark. You see the little heart logo at the top. Yep, right there.
Yeah.
So those are our own LP, and then if you go down, you'll see some are Pulse X. So those are
super cool.
Yeah, those are the ones that are still part of Pulse X.
That's cool. So you still have some buy and burn on Pulsex.
Yep, exactly.
Through your protocol.
And we're able to take some of the ink rewards that we use. We rehypothecate those farms onto Pulse X. We take the ink rewards, and then we use the ink rewards to buy half PLS and half Spark to reward in Sparkler.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's very, very capital efficient. We're always supporting not only the volume, but also the price of Pulse as well.
Right. Well, I love passive income in Pulse, man. That's
totally.
That's my main gig. That's why I run node validators. It's why I provide liquidity. So I just want to build my Pulse back.
Man, no doubt. Especially now, while we're closer to the bottom than the top, for sure.
No financial advice, and also where it looks like we have created bottom structure, no financial advice, but to me, it looks like we are coming off that bottom slowly, which is fine. So for me, it's like, okay, now I know where we're at. I know where we stand. Let's build as much Pulse as we possibly can during these times, because there's gonna be a time where it's like, all right, well, I'm not buying anymore, that's for sure, because the price is too high. And still, the only way maybe you're able to receive Pulse is through means like this, and provide liquidity, running node validators, and any other type of passive income you can provide in Pulsechain. So yeah, this is cool stuff.
Yeah, and why not earn on the pulse that you're holding, you know? So it's about,
Exactly.
yeah, totally. Well, we're waiting
We
for the ultimate run. Yeah, so
we always when we're talking to our real estate people, it's like we tell most people go to Coinbase to buy Ethereum. They hold on Coinbase, they don't ever do anything except for hope for number go up. And it's like we tell our real estate guys, like, well, that's like buying a rental property and not putting a tenant in place. Like,
yeah,
why would you
exactly,
ever
bro.
do that? Like, it's like, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, that's because you didn't know the use case of crypto. You don't know how to go in there and actually utilize it up and what it's meant to be used for in DeFi. And this stuff here, you know, it's so beautiful. That's why me and Dane love it so much.
Yeah,
and love
no
passive
doubt.
income coming from the real estate sector. Passive incomes are one of our favorite things.
Yeah, well, and you bring up a really good point, Corey. I mean, we absolutely we have a lot of comparisons to real estate. I mean, and that's
Yes.
one thing that's different about Spark is that everybody wants the price to go up, but they don't really realize that you're actually earning more through the yield that it generates rather than the price appreciation. So as long as Spark maintains a certain range, you're literally raking in the rewards every day, you know, through the yield. And the richest people in the world, you know, they gain their wealth through yield producing assets,
Yep.
whether it's real estate or a business or, you know, anything like that. So we apply all those economic models to SparkSwap and how we're able to reward all of our users for sure. So, and one thing too, I want to mention before we move off of the screen, Dane, if you go to trade, we are also a front end for Pulsex. So yeah, if you go to exchange, again,
Oh,
to what
really?
you, yeah. So yeah, if you go at the top right there where it says swap, all of the, again, above that,
Right.
yep, that's for Pulsex. So if you're on swap with the
Oh,
little
cool.
Pulsex logo, we're also a front end. So I know that, you know, with everything going more decentralized from
IPFS.
Richard, yeah, IPFS, we love that. I think that's super bullish for the long term. But in the short term, it's hard for new users, you know, to download and run everything locally. So we are still a front end for Pulsex as well.
Oh, we can do for that, my friend. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You want to answer Ted Nelson's question with the
for
Zapper?
sure.
What if you wanted to start with new fiat, a stable coin? Could you say USDC and the Zapper will make 50-50 Pulse/Spark?
Yep, perfect, Ted. So yeah, what you do is if you wanted to have DAO USDC, say you had $100, the Zapper would buy $50 worth of Spark and $50 worth of PLS. It would then combine it into LP, and then you're earning from that. So yeah, you can do it with a stable, you can do it with Pulse, whatever asset is supported. And then
It
just
makes
make
it
sure
user
that yeah,
friendly.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Just make sure you actually deposit it into the farm. So it is two steps. You have to make it first, and then actually deposit it.
Is the same,
So you took a
similar to
deposit.
Pulsex, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. Well, this is great. Yeah, what other questions you guys have? Post them in the chat. I think that there's a lot to be said about shining light on the people that are trying to build cool things on Pulsechain. And that's why we brought AJ on today. So if you got more questions, we're happy to answer them. Man, I
Yeah,
think that we've primarily nailed the ones that I've been thinking through over the last couple of weeks since we chatted, AJ.
yeah, no
Um,
doubt, Dan. Well, and I
this
do
is this is cool.
yeah. One other thing I want to bring up, which may be a bit of a hot take. We are one of the only protocols that did not do a sacrifice. So I know that you know, we've seen a lot of other protocols that have done a sacrifice that have not supported their ecosystems, and so we felt it was very important that we just built first and improved our worth before we, you know, ever thought about doing a sacrifice. So now we're up and running, and you know, there's no early whales. Everything is very fair, and that's very important to our overall model for sure.
Yeah. Super Snake makes a really interesting point. The average payout is almost 200% for the two highest paying farms, Spark PLS and Spark Die. Well positioned for top two farms, a little under 15K at these prices.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can get a great position now. Obviously, the native farm, anything that has spark in it, we put a lot more emissions towards that to help support the price. And over time, the APR will come down, but without having any withdrawal fees or deposit fees, you're able to literally print money while it lasts. So. And obviously, as we move forward, the APR will stabilize as we move towards what I was saying earlier of that real yield model, where we're just rewarding based on volume. And I mean, if we can do the amount of volume that Fox or Pulse X does, it's only a 10x from here in terms of fees.
Huh. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Well, and we talk about it a lot on the show. You want to buy things when they're cheap and undervalued, not when they get more expensive. And like you're saying here, and some of the other guys have said in the chat, like you guys haven't been getting the shine that maybe should be due. I personally been kind of waiting on the sidelines. I wanted to see. I wanted to see you guys kind of prove your worth. Now, once again, we don't give any
For sure.
financial advice on the show. You guys have got to make your own financial decisions. I've been really pleased to be able to see what you guys have built, and B that there's been staying power. It hasn't been a big rug up to this point where all the liquidity just disappeared. When is that audit going to be released so people could look into what admin keys may be available and some of that? If
For
you
sure.
mentioned that earlier and I'm just not remembering, I apologize.
Yeah, if you go to info, we do have the audit there as well, I believe. OXR did an original audit on the platform itself. All right, the link has to be updated. So yeah, but we do have it in our Telegram. The audit we have there was only one minor issue with the audit, and that had to do with the rehypothecation, where we're using the Pulse X farms and utilizing that to earn. But it wasn't anything catastrophic. Um, it simply had to do with, when an edge case of when you did withdraw fees, that they would go to your wallet. But we don't have any control over your assets. Everything is completely decentralized. What we do have control of is the emission rates. Again, that's just because we need to manage that based on daily volume. But we'll have a full audit in terms of the bridge, hopefully by the end of January. We're working on it right now, and it will be with a very reputable company. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but all of you have heard of them for sure. So once that's out, I think that will also give a lot more confidence. And again, if you look into myself, I'm fully doxxed again, and we've never had an exploit on any of our protocols. We have some of the best devs in the whole industry, and we've been around for 2 years on BSC. So we're doing everything we can for sure.
Very cool.
Speaking of that, what's on the roadmap? So you got L1 coming, L swap. Anything else that you have coming maybe for 2024? You're saying you kind of have like a 10-year vision. Would love to hear some of the other stuff you tying this all in together with.
So we're hoping to add more and more utility. Obviously, a V3 model of concentrated liquidity.
That would be
we're looking
sick.
into that. Yeah, bro. We're looking into that. That's a pretty big lift for us, but we are hoping to have that out. And then as well as vaults as well. So like auto vault where you're able to earn, without having to manually compound your rewards yourself. So continuing to add
That can be done through Tetra or something?
Yeah, exactly. We're working with Tetra to help automate those. And we're even building some of our own tech as well. But yeah, anything we can do to provide a more seamless user experience as well. And we have some surprises too. We haven't announced it yet. I'd love to give you guys the alpha, but we have a lot more coming in the next few months.
Give us a sneak peek there. You can't
Yeah,
tease us and then
yeah, I
not
know,
give a
bro.
little, you know.
Well, I know a big concern has been the look of the website. So I'll give you an alpha. We are going to be doing a brand new UI as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
That'd
cool.
be cool. Yeah, and I think it go. Oh, there's some of the guys here. For some of you that may not know, I mean, some of the guys here in the comments have been around a long time. Korean
We're
investors,
OGs.
those guys, OGs, really like them. Briz has been around a long time. You know, once again, nobody gives financial advice. You got to make do your own.
Grizz holds Bitcoin.
But you have some guys that have been around a long time that are giving props to AJ and his team. You know, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. Plus, like Briz points out here, you know, AJ is putting his credibility on the line. He's he's showing his
For
face.
sure.
He's talking about what's going on. He's not a flash in the pan guy that just showed up overnight and is asking for your sacrifice money. And so these are all really important pieces that we consider when it comes to doing due diligence, rather than saying just do your own due diligence and that falling on deaf ears and us giving you no tools to do it. We're here trying to provide some of that insight to be able to help you guys make your own decisions, whatever those may be, for your own holdings.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate the love and support. Again, we're out here just trying to build awesome shit. So we're going to continue to do that for sure.
Absolutely.
Where's the you shield the URL for the bridge too? So this is SparkSwap here. I love the audience
Yeah.
to know
So
how
yeah,
to
if you go
get
to trade, if you go back to trade, and we're working on actually a standalone
there it
URL
is.
for the
Okay.
bridge as well. So it will be a lot more user friendly in that respect. But yeah, you would just pick BSC, Arbitrum, or Pulse. Yep, depending on where you're coming or going from,
Cool.
and
There we
then
go.
whatever asset that you want.
Did you guys, as far as the bridge is concerned, what bridge technology did you guys utilize?
Yeah, so we built all this from the ground up, our own. So it's a completely custom code that we have battle tested over months. And so, yeah, we use our own framework.
Very cool. Yeah, DeFi King makes an interesting point. I think SparkSwap will really shine if there's ever an event that causes that official Pulsechain bridge to clog up. And we've seen it, right? We've seen
For
it where
sure.
it's clogged up. So it's important to have multiple options. I think that's a great take.
Yeah, well, and our BSC and Arbitrum, I mean, we're averaging about 1 minute in terms of time.
For the bridge?
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Holy crap, bro.
under
Oh,
1
that's
minute.
Awesome.
Yeah, the official bridge can take up to an hour.
I
So
know.
we're very very fast in terms, and on top of that, we have also implemented the ability to receive actual pulse when bridging. So if you're a new user, you don't have to worry about gas. So if you go from BSC to pulse, you can receive actual pulse.
Oh, like we have right now the bots that we for the ETH bridge. I
Yes.
had a onboard last
Oh.
week. Used the ETH bridge, and she got 1,000 pulse directly in her wallet, and it was her first transaction. I think that is amazing for onboarding purposes, because
For sure.
we take advantage, or we take for granted, like, our knowledge of DeFi. People understand, like, why do I need you to send me pulse before it was always this, conversation I had to have, and I had to explain how gas worked. I had to explain, like, how you can be landlocked if you're not if you're not careful. And I've been landlocked before. I remember when I got landlocked one time on the Crow network. It was stupid when I was first learning. Yeah. So, like, it's a real thing. And so this is super cool that you're implementing this, man. Yeah, just whatever to make our jobs easier as onboard. That's what me and Dane do a lot, is we onboard the real estate community into the crypto space. And so this kind of stuff makes our work easier because it's just it can be a pain in the butt sometimes, man. It's we love the space, but it's early and we feel it sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you have to ask your friend for some gas money. You get it right away now for sure.
Where does
Excellent.
where does the gas money from your guys' bridge come from? I mean, imagine
Yeah.
that's just your own holdings, right?
So we actually, the way that we do it is very different because faucets can be exploitable. So, like you said,
Yeah.
the money has to come from somewhere. So what we do is we actually do a cross-chain swap. So if you're doing BNB, DAI or EMP or any of the assets that we support on the bridge, behind the scenes, we take that asset and we actually buy Pulse off the market at market prices and then reward you in that Pulse on Pulsechain. So we don't
Oh,
actually, yeah, what's actually a swap, not
that's
not a
excellent.
yeah, not just
How? What about
free.
the gas to pay for that swap? Are you guys like fronting the gas to pay for that swap, and
We
then
are
like taking it out of
the fee.
the uh,
Yep,
the
yep. The
fee, and then
gas, exactly. The gas on our side is covered from the fee. Yep.
bro, that's genius. That's the way it should be. You could run that forever. That's
Exactly.
infinite.
Infinite, totally, bro. Yep. So we don't ever have to
Oh
worry
my
about, yeah, we
gosh.
don't ever have to worry about any kind of an exploit or people just abusing the system.
When you guys send over the audit to RH, you should also
Yeah,
send them that portion and be like, hey, bro, like if you want to
for
encourage the
sure.
community to ever build this, because like the way we're doing it now, it's great, but it requires us as a community or whoever to deposit more and more pulse into that bot, and it's like you can do that forever. Like it's okay, I
Totally.
guess. I mean, some people have a really large bags of pulse. I get it, but like still, like it's doing that forever sucks. And this is a genius way to do it, man. And you guys
Yep.
are very creative at the stuff that you build.
Thank you, Roy. That
Super
means a
awesome.
lot, brother. That really
We
means a
just need
lot
more
from you
marketing
guys.
for your guys' protocols. Is all we need.
Yes, totally. Well, any of you that are watching today, definitely
Swap.
help
This is
us.
it.
Yeah, help us spread the word for sure.
Absolutely. So I'll share it again. I think this has been excellent. We appreciate you coming on, AJ. Let me make sure that I would give you guys proper shout out. So you can come here to SparkSwap. It is sparkswap.xyz. Make sure you double check your URL so you're coming to the right place.
Always.
Yep, absolutely. And you can come in and use all the tools that they've got here that we've talked about today. So, depending upon what you may want to do as far as your own holdings, we've given you the tools to be able to come and use a cool new tool on Pulsechain. We're excited to see what you guys continue to build, and ideally some huge volumes later this year as Pulsechain picks up more steam.
Yeah, no doubt, guys. Well, it's been a real pleasure. I apologize, I'm losing my voice, but I'd love to
It's
come back
fine.
on and
You
and
did good.
do another recap with you guys. We have a lot of awesome, innovative tech that we're bringing, and at the end of the day, we want Spark and Pulse to succeed. So whatever we can do to help that happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, appreciate you being on here once again, AJ. How can people, if they want to interact with you and the team, are you guys on Twitter, all that type of stuff?
We are. So
Telegram.
yep, we're on every platform you can imagine. The most of our interaction is on Telegram. The link is right there at the bottom of the screen there on the left. Those are our official Twitter. Yep, right there. Yep, there you go. And yep, and then EMP Money as well. We do bi-weekly Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We do a 1 hour AMA about our ecosystem. So twice a week, you can kind of tune in and hear what we're doing in real time.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Love it. Cool. Well, thanks
Awesome.
again. Yeah, thanks again, AJ. I mean, you've gotten massive props and shout outs in the comments today from people that have been around. So I think that speaks volumes. We appreciate you guys being here in the comments. You guys make the show what it is. And with that, we'll catch you tomorrow.
All right.
See
Thanks,
you guys.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.